Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Darren from footmanstory.com here, and we have a pivotal episode for you. York City v Liverpool is going to be the live game, the feature match, second against first. Now we're only at the end of November, so you can't say that this is going to decide the title, but what it will do is show whether we have the credentials to actually challenge. We've not only got that live game, we've also got a tactical review for you, because I have switched things up. Hence the title of the episode. No spoilers there. And we're also going to be going through the schedule from September through to November, so you guys can see exactly what the Minster men have been up to. Before we jump into the schedule itself, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and click the alert button. That way you'll get to see any new episodes as and when they come out. And if you enjoy the episode, why not click like? Get in the comments as well, get involved. I'm really interested to know people's opinions and what's going on in your saves. And yeah, let's make this an interactive channel. Okay, roll the intro. So last episode, guys, was episode number 2. For those who missed it, go and catch up now. We went from the Everton game, which I've highlighted, all the way down to the Lyon game. Today we're picking up at Manchester United. First really tough game of the season, away from home, and not surprisingly it was reminiscent of last season where we really struggled against the top teams, especially away. Those games were what cost us actually going for the title, and that's what we need to correct this season. As you can see in the Manchester United game, we took the lead through Louis, and then unfortunately ended up getting pegged back by Vizza and Greenwood. And to be honest, we were outclassed. They were by far the better team. And if we're ever going to compete at the very top level, I'm talking Champions League, winning the league title, I had to change something up. The flat 4-4-2, while it served its purpose for an awful lot of years, and it is a great tactic, don't get me wrong, I could carry on with this right now and still do really well, but I'm not going to challenge for the title. I had a look at some of the games and tried to analyse where the issue actually was, and coming up away from home against the big boys and away from home against some of the middling teams, we didn't seem to create anywhere near enough due to the shape. So we moved the wingers from out wide to AMC. Now this seemed to suit Todorovic and Rodriguez, two of our best regions. Kind of what inspired the move, as well as the fact that we do have really good players in the wing-back positions, Carvalho and Capadonna. So the idea was to get these guys on complete wing-back so that they could overload out wide, while the AMCs and the strikers distract the defenders and the central midfielders. This leaves the space for the wing-backs to exploit. What I also found is this worked really well from set pieces. The sheer volume of bodies in the box from throw-ins and corners has wreaked absolute havoc. And the fact that Louis got his good aerial presence with his jumping and his heading has worked really well also. The AMCs can score some absolute stunners. I've seen a couple from Rodriguez that you will also see, and Todorovic has scored a few as well. We do still press high, we still have a high line, we stick to the passing plan, but the sheer volume of players in the final third centrally just seems to work. In the past, my big concern with using a system like this has been the weakness out wide. Now we're going to touch on that in a minute because there is still a bit of that, but it only comes against certain systems, which, like I say, you'll see. So let's jump into the schedule. To be fair, the first game with the new system was a little bit of a free hit. It was the League Cup. I ain't bothered about that competition. Again, away from home against Manchester United, so I didn't expect much. And we also played a weakened 11. We won 2-0, Lara with a great goal and Salcedo as well. Then we came up against West Brom, and we absolutely dominated. This game just epitomises what I'm talking about with the system. So there's that central overload, Todorovic taking advantage of the defenders not knowing what to do with our strikers, and then you've also got the set piece overload, where there's just so many bodies in the box. Herbert finds it easy to convert. Yes, West Brom did get back into the game, but we had another few goals to come yet. From a throw-in, Capadonna, and then another corner, lots of bodies in the box, Lara on the end of it. And the last one shows what the AMCs can do and how the complete wing-backs can get space out wide. And lovely finish from Gorka Rodriguez there. So really happy with that performance against West Brom. It gave me a lot of confidence going into the next game against Real Madrid, which we won 2-1 away from home at the Bernabeu. If you actually take a quick look at the match stats as well, it was fully deserved. we ended up creating 3 clear-cut chances to their 1. 11 shots and 8 of them on target. Really, really happy with that. We came up against Arsenal next and we drew 1-1. A little bit of a disappointment after the high we're on over the last 3 games, but we were the better team, and Chevalier scored quite late on with the equaliser. Heading into the Brighton game, I was starting to think, is this system maybe not working? However, the lads came good. Rodriguez opened the scoring with the most sensational solo goal I've seen this season on the game. What a run and what a finish. Then Carvalho matched him all the way from right back, splitting the defence in half, and you could see there the AMCs and the strikers creating all kinds of problems. The next goal, Capadonna scoring from left back. Absolutely amazing. Everyone was getting involved, and you're also going to get to see the aerial presence of Louis here. Again, that ball out wide. There's so much space because of the overload in the middle, and we're on the end of it with our main man up front scoring. And yeah, just one last one to cap it off and make it 5-0. Another header. Wonderful, wonderful display. The next match was against Krasnodar, and it was not straightforward. I honestly thought that we'd whitewash these guys, so I played a weakened 11. Unfortunately, we went 1-0 down in the first half before staging a big comeback in the second half. Now, when I first looked at it, I put it down to the starting 11 as for why we seemed to struggle in the first half. Then I had a quick look at the analysis and I realised the formation they were playing. If all of our attacking movement is happening in the middle, and that's where all their defenders are, naturally man marking will have been a piece of piss for them. But now wasn't the time to panic, because the system was still working against what I would call normal tactics, like your 4-5-1s, your 4-4-2s, your 4-2-3-1s. What it seemed to be is when teams were coming up against us with just 2 players out wide rather than 4, that's where the problem might be happening. So I made a mental note, and we moved on to the Fulham game with the system still in place. Carvalho with a brilliant cross out to Capadonna, Lara with the finish, and then we came up trumps with the most sensational goal going through the middle from Todorovic, again showing that overload does work centrally when you're up against the right system. Now Aguirre, our old right back / winger, came back to haunt us with the most sensational top corner screamer. Carvalho actually got sent off before that, actually, which had me panicking, but we brought the main man up front off the bench, Saicedo, and he scored before Lara came in, passing to Capadonna to finish from left back. Fulham did get another consolation goal, but I was really, really happy with the performance all round. The next game we went into was against Brentford. We won 5-0 in the cup, really easy performance, and we rested a load of players, which was very helpful. So all was looking rosy and well. However, I was coming up against Krasnodar. Knowing that they would play that same formation as last time, I decided I had no choice but to make a change tactically. We needed to sort this for the long term, so I pulled both AMCs out wide, just like that. Also felt like the wing backs shouldn't be bombing forward as much while we've got that presence. And yeah, instead of overloading the centre, we were overloading out wide with the strikers still occupying the defenders up top. The result was great. So for the eagle-eye tactician, you will notice a big difference here. Denea cutting inside rather than starting from inside where he would already be marked. There's space for Louis to exploit to pull off his defender. He supplied Lara for his first goal. And yeah, just about all the goals have that feature to them. Note that instead of the AMCs getting marked by the DMCs, they're just pulling off them slightly, which is stretching the defence, pulling players out of position, and basically Krasnodar just could not cope. This is the final goal, I believe. Sagniar again, instead of being marked further forward, sitting out wide, and then supplying Lara for his hat-trick. Off the back of that fantastic performance, we actually came up against Norwich. Now, I had a quick look at Norwich's profile screen before the game and noticed this. So they've got 3 centre-backs, 2 central midfielders, and an AMC. Quite heavily populated in that central area. I decided that it was probably best to stick with the same system and try using the 4-4-2 with the attacking wingers again. What followed was a dominant display, 21 shots, 11 on target. Norwich managed half as much as that. We did get 3 clear-cut chances. Of course, they managed 2 themselves, but it was a really, really good display. Very happy with that. The goals came in the first half, I believe, and it was all wrapped up, done and dusted. That brings us on to today's big game against Liverpool. Before we go into the tactics of any game, I like to have a quick look at the pre-match analysis. Looking at this, you can see that Liverpool's most successful formation is the 4-2-3-1, which would suggest that's probably what they're going to use. Looking in their profile as well, you can see that they're using the same shape there to show the team, which would suggest that is the most common one. Looking at the player list, they've got no real absentees. Yes, Sandro Tonali, but he's only played 3. Milinkovic-Savic, you could say that he's probably missing, but they've got some real quality throughout the team anyway. Anelka, probably the best player in the world, I would say, not far off. And at the back, they are quite strong as well. Kabak's really good. Damien Blanc is fantastic, not the greatest in the air. And obviously, they've got Van Dijk. I mean, he's showing on the bench, but he'll be playing, won't he? Up front, they've got Daniel Shaw. He's another new gen. You won't know him. Really high-quality player. And they've still got Salah. Mohamed Salah still rocking it at 33. Look at those physicals. 17 at 33. So let's jump into the tactics screen and see what we're going to do. A little bit worried that we're going to get overloaded out wide with the narrow formation, but I'm going to go with it because it has worked against the 4-2-3-1 for us so far. Would probably be wiser, to be fair, to go for a tactic more like this, for the 4-4-2. But long term, I can't be signing players for all those roles, so we're going to rock it at this. The team is as follows. Capadonna needs to come out because he has been on international duty and looks a bit tired, which means Horvath is going to get risked at left back. But what would you guys do? I'm interested. So you've now got this pre-match screen come up, and it shows that actually they're going to play a 4-5-1. Doesn't really change my approach, to be fair. I think I'm going to stick with what we're going to do here. I'm a little bit worried that the DMC may be enough to kind of man mark either Todorovic or Rodriguez, but we're going to see how the game pans out. But what would you guys do? How would you approach it? Would you stick with that? Would you go back to the flat 4-4-2 that seemed to work well at home? Or would you even go with the 4-4-2 with the wings pushed up? We'll go with the usual team talk of pick up where you left off because we've been on fantastic form and passionately make the difference. I always find this one seems to get the morale boosted for the game. Quite nervous, if I'm honest. One minor detail I did forget to tell you guys, Liverpool have won the title the last 3 seasons on the bounce, with Man United and Man City finishing in 2nd and 3rd. It's been the same top 3 for the last 3 seasons in a row, so we're hoping to break that deadlock, and to be fair, at the end of November, we're only 1 point behind them, so it's certainly possible, but we do need this narrow tactic to work against the big teams. That's where we struggled. My only concern is, with that formation that they're playing, I can see us struggling, and a lot of their strengths are out wide with Robertson, Arnold and Salah. So we could come undone here. It's something we're going to have to be a bit careful of. We've not come up against a 4-5-1 yet, using a DMC as well, and it kind of really it plays into all the weaknesses of the tactic when the opposition are that good, and he's going off for that. Yeah, Horvath has gone off the pitch. Right, well that changes things, boys. We're going to have to, I believe, switch to the 4-4-2. I'm going to have to bring Lara off, and I'm going to have to put Capadonna at left back. Been forced into that one. Not a change I would have liked to make, but when you go down to 10 men, what choice do you have? That was a stupid challenge by Horvath. Scissor kick, didn't need to make it, and now there's the first highlight for Liverpool. Are they going to get something? No, Lewis picked it up. He's 1-on-1. What can he do? I don't know what their defender's done, but he's let him in, and Lewis scored. I don't believe it. We've just gone down to 10 men, and then Alex Louis, the legend, has scored his 12th goal of the season. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Look, what's he doing there? Absolute rubbish. I think that was Robertson as well. Got the lead in hand, which is great, but they're in behind. Shaw with his pace, but Savage, fantastic one-on-ones. In all honesty, Shaw should have done a lot better there. We've made it to half-time with very few highlights, and I'm going to calmly say that I'm happy with the performance and send them out like that. To be down to 10 men and then have taken the lead, we've only scored the 1 goal from the 1 chance we'd actually had. 1 clear-cut chance, 1 shot, 1 on target, that was the goal. Dripping by to the 60th minute, so we're going to jump into the tactics screen, and this is the most boring game I could have chosen for us all to be watching, but at the end of the day, as long as we win, it doesn't matter, does it? Let's get some changes on, some fresh legs, I think. Liverpool have now had 9 shots and only 3 of those on target. I would put that largely down to the fact that we've actually got those 2 banks of 4 now. It is a solid system defensively. And I think that's a penalty, you know. I think we've picked up a penalty. We have. Mo Salah has fouled Louis, who scores 2-0. 2 goals for Louis, that's his 13th now of the season, and we're 2-0 up against Liverpool despite being down to 10 men. I am absolutely in shock. Of all the things to have happened, I wouldn't have expected that, and in all honesty, getting that red card, which forced us to switch to the 2 banks of 4, has probably gifted us the result. As Schuller brings the ball forward, and now Denea down the right wing. I said he could dribble, and he's doing it. Go on, lad, keep going, get the ball in. Oh, what a run. Schuller. Strickland. Chevalier Strickland. Again the Frenchman to Louis. Oh my God, on the hat-trick, and it is a corner. Great save by Alisson Becker. This will be Carvalho with ball in. And Capadonna. That's it. The game's over. We won 2-0. Very few highlights. I'm sorry it was quite a boring game for you all to sit there and watch. But actually, there's quite a lot of action going on. We had 8 shots, 5 on target to Liverpool's 13 and 6. But we actually had 3 clear-cut chances, despite going down to 10 men on the 36th minute. That puts us 2 points clear of Liverpool and 5 points clear of Manchester City. I will take that all day long. I'm going to make a prediction here, guys, and I want you to make one as well. What do you think would have happened if we hadn't had that red card from our left-back Horvath? Because I would have stuck with the narrow system until I felt the need to change. And you know what it's like? You don't generally change until you go a goal down. Now, I don't think we'd have probably come back from that. But the very fact I was forced into making the switch and having 2 banks of 4 may well have meant we didn't concede when we could have done. Let's jump into the schedule. And I want to show you guys what's coming up next. So we've got Lyon, Tottenham and Wolverhampton Wanderers away. That's a really tough run of games. It's going to be a big test for the narrow system, and I'll probably decide whether I carry on with it or whether we're going to go back to the 4-4-2. I've already qualified for the Champions League first knockout round. That is done and dusted with some incredible results, which you've already seen. And the next episode will probably come back in January, maybe for the Arsenal game, but we'll see. You're also going to see some January transfers, so make sure you come back for episode 4. If you've not done so already, please subscribe. And click that bell button so that you get alerted when there's new episodes out. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a like, give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel and I'd much appreciate it. And jump in the chat. You know, tell me what you think. What would have happened in that game? And all the other questions I've been asking throughout the episode. I would love it to be an interactive channel. Right guys, I've talked for way too long and bored you all to death, so I'm going to sign off at that. Thank you so much for following, and I will see you next time.